Dear friends and participants, let me first welcome you all on the occasion of International Museum Day being observed throughout the world today. Before you touch upon the theme of observance this year, that is the Museum of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, I would like to mention that there began a collection of various museum specimens at the Asiatic Society since 1808, when its own building was established at Park Street, Calcutta. Practically, it was a Danish botanist, Nathaniel Wallich, who was instrumental in formally establishing a nucleus of museum at Asiatic Society. He was the first honorary curator of museum and offered all duplicate specimens from his own collection. Later on, he became honorary superintendent of the Oriental Museum of the Asiatic Society. The first modern art gallery was opened at Asiatic Society in December 1834. The society decided later on to transfer all museum objects to Indian Museum except books, manuscripts, coins, paintings, etc. Eventually, the Indian Museum came into being in 1875. It is to be noted here that the Asiatic Society was the initiator of modern museums in Asia. Keeping that rich tradition of museumization of great Indian culture, the Society observes the International Museum Day today. In brief, it may be said that the existing Museum of Asiatic Society, with its collection of 50,000 manuscripts and other objects, can be epitomized as the embodiment of a treasure house of human ingenuity and cultural excellence, truly displaying a civilizational diversity of Asia in space, time, and population. Thank you all.
Presently, we are passing through a global crisis. We are forced to stay in isolation. Our movement has been restricted. As a matter of fact, our very existence has been challenged by a fierce pandemic. But at the same time, that should not deter us from our academic activities, nor should it make us oblivious of our social responsibilities. With this objective in mind, we, on behalf of the Museum of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata, have decided to celebrate World Museum Day on 8th May. As we strongly believe that our museum is not simply a repertoire of mummified objects. On the contrary, this museum is a living entity, a chronicle of past and present. It will be noted here that the Asiatic Society was established by Sir William Jones in 1784 with a view to promote Indological research and other allied subjects. Now, considered as one of the richest museums of not only India, but the entire subcontinent, Asiatic Society Museum was established under the supervision of Dr. Wallis in 1814. Though the society expressed its leaning for formal establishment of a museum as early as in 1796. The present museum is the birthplace of Indian Museum, which was established in 1878. Now, the Asiatic Society Museum, what is unique of it? Yes, it is unique. Asiatic Society Museum, I state and reiterate that it is unique, as it is equipped with a treasured collection of 49,616 manuscripts. I repeat, 49,616 manuscripts which were composed in Sanskrit, Arabic, Urdu, Persian, Old Bengali, Oriya, Aramese, Ceylonese, and many other languages. We have rarest of the rare collections of Pragya, Ashtosahasrika, Pragya Paramita, Burmese Ramayana, Aini Akbari, and many others. Ashokan Rock Edict, dated as early as 250 BC, is another our treasured possession. The lithograph section of Asiatic Society Museum has been enriched by numerous pictures showing the daily life of 18th century India. Coins, maps, paintings, archival documents, old correspondence, all these have added new dimension in unraveling our great cultural heritage. Now, in 21st century, we cannot restrict our national treasures confined within the periphery of the four walls of the museum. As the museum has been reckoned with as a medium of mass education, as had been aptly pointed out by our greatest cultural icon Rabindranath in his letters from Russia in 1930, where he lauded the museums of Russia for their role in dissemination of knowledge. Similarly, in the same tone, we in Asiatic Society are also determined to share our treasures not only with the researchers or academicians, but with entire populace to make them aware about our glorious past, which has been enshrined in the manuscripts, worn out pages of rare books, archival documents, and many other antique pieces were in the possession of Asiatic Society Museum. So we have diversity of materials to the infinity. At the same time, access and equity. I repeat, access and equity. These two key words we follow as motto to reach remotest parts of our country and the global scenario as well. With this objective, we have put up virtual exhibition of museum treasures in our site to present a glimpse of our treasures, all connoisseurs and general public. We had already started digitization process of our manuscripts, and a good number of them had already been digitized. We are trying hard to make our treasures accessible to all, irrespective of any hegemony or geographical barrier, because we believe that knowledge is universal. I repeat, we believe that knowledge is universal. We intend to share our treasures with the global community in the interest of furtherance, promotion of wisdom. This is our vow on the occasion of International Museum Day, and the museum people, we seek your blessings and good wishes to fulfill our objective. Jai Hind.
COVID-19 has changed the life of mankind all throughout the world. People are learning to carry on their regular outdoor activities differently than what they were used to doing in the past. Social distancing norm, which now restricts close contact between people, have opened the door for digital means to carry out the outdoor activities from the confines of one's own place. The objectives of National Mission for Manuscripts, where I work, are to identify, to document, to conserve, to digitize the old manuscripts. Moreover, it disseminates the knowledge content of those manuscripts through publication. Digitization of manuscripts is an absolute necessity to keep our manuscripts safe for posterity, as original old manuscripts are difficult to handle physically because of their fragile condition. Now we come to how to have access to the manuscripts and how to visit repositories or libraries in search of a particular manuscript when traveling, social contact, etc. are becoming risky. Interested persons, researchers, scholars from all over the world now should contact the curator of the repository for the availability of a particular manuscript. If the manuscript is available in the repository, the curator will inform the researcher. The researcher thereafter will be required to log in for access. Hence, user ID, etc. have to be generated. The curator, on being approached, would mail some sample folios to provide an idea to the scholar of the condition and readability of the manuscript. Thereafter, if the researcher wishes to obtain the entire manuscript, the competent authority of the repository will decide whether any charges are to be levied for providing necessary access to the manuscript. The repository accordingly will have to create an arrangement to accept the payment online. Access policies regarding matters like watermark on each page of the manuscript, download option, save as, copy, print, etc. option, period for which the access will be granted, etc. will have to be formulated before digital sharing of manuscripts can be implemented. Digital download and digital transfer of manuscripts will require development of appropriate protocols, software and web applications to support the process. Space in iCloud is needed for storing the database as well as the digitized manuscripts. Besides some private agencies like Reliance, Airtel, etc., there are two government agencies, NIC and CDAC, who provide server space in iCloud. Government institutions normally use the service provided by NIC and CDAC. National Mission for Manuscripts has engaged NIC for providing this service. Usually, the service provider helps the repository or institution to create the software as per the requirements of the institution. Due to the prevailing situation, digital access is becoming the only way of accessing resources of the libraries, and it appears that this will become the new normal in future. In this context, I would like to share that National Mission for Manuscripts has already started uploading digitized copies of the mission's publications to enable scholars and interested readers access e-book at the National Mission for Manuscript website www.namami.gov.in. I repeat, www.namami, namami.gov.in. I want to conclude my presentation with a Sanskrit sloka. Nasti vidya samo bandhu, nasti vidya samo sudhit, nasti vidya samang vittang, nasti vidya samang sukham. Hence, vidya or knowledge contained in books and manuscripts which are kept in repositories must be accessible to ardent readers either physically or digitally. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anurag Kumar. I work as Director of Central Research and Training Laboratory at National Council of Science Museums, Kolkata. Well, as we all know that we are under lockdown for quite some time, and most of the museums, science centers and zoos and other public places are closed. With no visitors during the lockdown period, the science centers, zoos and museums across the world are opening their galleries and enclosures on the internet for the people to see them while staying at home. While some are hosting live streamings of animals 24/7, others are allowing citizens to take a virtual walkthrough of the museum galleries. Some are organizing sky observation programs, popular lectures and webinars. Though we are trying our best to keep our visitors engaged, are we really prepared for this kind of situation? Strictly speaking, no, because we have no digital content ready with us. That is why whatever we are able to prepare during lockdown, we are placing them before the visitors. I know it is very difficult to be prepared for such situations, but if we had taken action for converting our collections and content to digital platform, we would have served our visitors better in terms of content during this time. One of the ways in which we can prepare ourselves for such situations is to have virtual museums of our collections. It is not only today that we have realized that we should have our collections digitized. Several incidences have happened in the past too, like destruction of Buddha's statue at Bamiyan, destruction of heritage monuments during the earthquake in Nepal, fire at the National Museum of Natural History in New Delhi, and most recently the fire at Notre Dame in France that has made it more relevant to create an authentic library of all heritage assets of the country. Digital documentation of our collections not only helps us in creating digital library, but it also helps us in giving memorable experience to the visitors. In order to give authentic information and memorable experience to the visitors of the museums and help them understand the past through authentic reconstruction, we can capture and reconstruct the past glory in real-time 3D digital graphics and deliver them in user-friendly virtual reality and augmented reality and in other high-end immersive digital modes like 3D film, walkthrough, 3D projection, dome projection, 3D printing, projection mapping shows, interactive kiosks, and many other ways. This digital information forms not only an accurate record of rapidly deteriorating assets, which should be saved for posterity, but also provides us a comprehensive base data set by which our conservators can monitor and perform necessary restoration work to ensure physical integrity of the exhibits. National Council of Science Museums has developed one virtual experiential museum at Varanasi. The city Kashi perhaps has more names than any other city in the world. For millions who gravitate here, it is the city of expectations, anticipations, and excitement. Banaras, the oldest living city of the world, is not just a place, it is a complete civilization, an ever-evolving ethos. This ancient city, fed eternally by the river Ganga, is also known for its cuisines, arts, crafts, textiles, literature, music, and performing arts like Ramlila. Though it is not easy to fathom Banaras completely, the virtual experiential museum is an attempt at capturing the essence of the city. Ras Ras Banaras, the name given to the exhibition, gives the sight and sound, the color and fragrance of this sacred land. In association with the technical support of IIT Bombay, the NCSM has developed another virtual experiential museum at National Museum, New Delhi. The theme of this museum is Ajanta. The installation has a large reproduction of the caves. The entire painting has been digitized and projected on the installation. There is a lot of misinterpretation of the paintings that are there in Ajanta. Through the interactive AR paintings, people get more accurate knowledge of the paintings. Digital reconstruction of the paintings have been done which tells the story even of the parts which are missing. Animation films have been based on the narrative of the painting, following the original paintings very closely. Now, let us understand what are the different processes involved in establishing a virtual museum. The first thing that we need to do is to capture the information in digital medium. There are many ways in which we can capture this information. For 3D scanning, we use LIDAR technique, which is a laser scanning method. This is a relatively expensive method as of now, but we have a cheaper method too called photogrammetry, in which high resolution photographs are taken from all sides and then they are fed into a software to create 3D reconstruction. Here, I would like to narrate an importance of 3D scanning. We all know that Notre Dame had burnt down. Notre Dame was fortunately 3D scanned for creating a 3D game. After the fire, fortunately, we had the accurate 3D record of the building, which helped immensely in the authentic reconstruction of the burnt part of the building. For immersive experience, the museum installations can be shot through 360-degree cameras. In order to create impactful stories, we also need to capture the photographs and videos using drone cameras. A lot of videos need to be captured in 2D videos format also. After capturing the information in 3D, we have to reconstruct them and prepare 3D models using appropriate software. Capturing information is of no use unless the information is stored properly. For this, we need to create a digital library and a catalog of the captured information using content management system. Once the information is captured and stored, we can use this information in many ways for giving memorable experience to the visitors. Some of the ways in which we can present the information are orientation films, which gives a brief overview of the gallery. We can also create completely immersive content for virtual reality headsets. Since the content has also been captured in 3D environment, a good 3D film can be created. The augmented reality is another way of creating engaging content for the visitors, where they can use their own smartphones for accessing the information. There are interesting ways of presenting the objects in 3D environment. We can use Pepper Ghost holographic technique for the display of virtual 3D objects. The manuscripts and the books can be digitized and presented in the form of digital flipbook. The paintings can be digitized and used very creatively for in-depth study, the way it has been done for Ajanta paintings. We can also animate the paintings for storytelling. By using all the captured digital content, we can create very interesting projection mapping shows. We can create a virtual walkthrough which can either be accessed through the computer or by the projection in an immersive environment. And finally, we can create an unmanned quiz where the computer works as a quiz master, which presents the question and tells the score in the end. Lastly, I would like to say that the museum fraternity in India needs to realize the importance of digital documentation and its use in creating the virtual museums for engaging its visitors, both online and offline. It not only gives the new perspective to our visitors, it also helps us in conserving and reconstruction of our valuable artifacts. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I am
Yes.
Dr. Keka Odhikari Banerjee, curator.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Me, the curator of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata.
Okay.
Sir, you are aware that 18 May is the International Museum Day.
Correct.
So, since we are unable to organize a conventional celebration due to Corona pandemic, so I would like to take your valuable comments regarding to this changed situation in this web talk.
Yes.
So, may I start with, sir?
Yeah,
What do you think about the role of museum in this changed scenario caused by COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, I can tell you that nowadays museums all over the world are going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
This is really a critical situation arise out of COVID-19. And the question of very survival of the museums is on the stake. And in that sense, in this kind of difficult atmosphere, we are trying to celebrate the International Museum Day on 18th of May, virtually almost. No physical programs or interactions and people coming over to the museum is really going to happen because all the museums, mostly all over the world in India, they are closed since March 2020.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. What do you think? How the museum can reach to the public?
There are various ways and means of museums reaching out to the audiences. The most popular way today and the most, in a way, cheaper way is to use the digital medium, the social media connectivity.
Yes.
Couple of museums have come up with number of programs, educational programs. Few like the museum which I represent, Raja Dinkar Kelkar Museum. We have come up with CD virtual tour of the museum.
Yeah.
That's the electronically we should try and reach to the audiences. At least, if not, we should be able to promote and take our museum to the classes and masses through social media. That's the only way we can reach up to the people in the fastest possible way. But then this will also help in establishing museums as a brand.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you. But we are all talking about the online exhibitions and online, all the programs are on online. So,
Yes.
what do you think that the people who don't have adequate electronic devices, even a smartphone, how they can be included in the museum education program?
One way could be to reach up to them through television channels.
Yeah.
Because poorest of the poor is having access to electronic media, that is the television channel. Another way could be taking the museum through possible bulletins or booklets, and if not video conversation, but some audio messages could be sent across, and they can be heard by the last man standing on the street.
Yeah, that's right, sir. Thank you. Sir, what in your views is the role of museum to the society with regard to equality, diversity and inclusiveness in this present situation as well as in the post-pandemic period?
The International Council of Museums has given this theme particularly so to engage the people with the museum, be inclusive, be gender, we should avoid disparity in gender, and the most important thing for a museum to do is to get the people to their doorsteps, be inclusive, be the role of education, dissemination of education. All these things are really play an important role from the museum's point of view. In India, what is happening is that the museums are not part of our culture in a way. It's not in our blood. If you go to the Western world, you will find that people are standing in queue to visit the museum. But here, that kind of emotional belongingness or emotional attachment or that kind of a sensitivity, museums are still unable to build that kind of a conducive atmosphere in the minds of general public.
Yes.
So it has become difficult that people are not really reaching up to the museum. Especially if the museum is located in particular city, the citizens of that particular city are not really becoming emotional owners, or they are not finding the belongingness. That's why the people coming from outside that particular city or coming for some personal work or professional work, they are going and visiting the museum. But the very citizens of that particular city, they are not the true visitors of those particular museums. And that is where the revenue model of the museum is getting disturbed. And these days, it looks very difficult even from the survival point of the museum. Couple of museums, those which are under the central government or state government umbrella, perhaps the employees working for these museums, they might get their salaries and all other benefits.
Yes, sir.
But rest of the museums, private sector museums and partially government funded museums, they are finding a difficult way in order to pay out salaries and benefits to their own employees. So that level of motivation is going to be very low during and post this COVID-19 situation.
Yes, sir. So the next question may be, because when you were telling that there should be a motivation, should be some revenue generation by the museum, because the people will not come in the post-pandemic period in the large numbers in the museums. So how can we, there may be the revenue generation?
I got your point. Perhaps in the Western world, you can associate or attach some price tag. Even if to the digital mediums like the picture photographs or videos or audios or training programs or virtual tools. But here in India, I doubt whether people would pay some money just to view the virtual tour or just listen to some educational program. So then it becomes very difficult. Other way is to approach the government and make an appeal that government should come up with some special package to support these museums, and plus the museum management should try and seek some donations. Even if you go and approach some corporate company or some private organization, they would also say that their own position is not so good. So entire museum sector of India at least is in doldrums. So I doubt that till December end, in case the vaccine comes up, then situation may change. But till December end, the future is completely dark.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you for sharing your valuable comments to us.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And then I would like to thank you and the audiences. Myself, Sudhanva Ranade, and the director of Raja Dinkar Kelkar Museum from the historic city of Pune. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
मित्रों नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर महासिंह पूनिया, पूर्व निदेशक धरोहर हरियाणा संग्रहालय और वर्तमान निदेशक युवा एवं सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम विभाग, कुरुक्षेत्र विश्वविद्यालय। वर्तमान लॉकडाउन के समय में संग्रहालयों की भूमिका के विषय में मैं अपने वक्तव्य को आप लोगों से साझा कर रहा हूं। वर्तमान दौर में जब लॉकडाउन है और संग्रहालय खुले नहीं हैं और दर्शक हमारे से दूर हैं, फिर भी हम दर्शकों से कैसे जुड़कर संग्रहालयों की महत्ता तथा उसके अंदर रखी हुई विशेष सामग्री के विषय में विस्तार से जानकारी दे सकते हैं और संग्रहालयों के माध्यम से अपना पुरातात्विक इतिहास, संस्कृति, संस्कार, परंपराएं, आर्काइव्स और कंजर्वेशन संबंधी जानकारी अपने दर्शकों को दे सकते हैं। वर्तमान दौर में हम जो संग्रहालय से जुड़े हुए विद्वान हैं, वेबिनार के माध्यम से, जूम ऐप तथा गूगल मीट के माध्यम से उनके लेक्चर आयोजित करवा सकते हैं और वो लेक्चर हिस्ट्री, हेरिटेज, पुरातत्व, ऑब्जेक्ट्स, गैलरीज, एग्जीबिशंस, किसी भी विषय को लेकर आयोजित किए जा सकते हैं और इसके साथ ही कुछ ऑनलाइन संगोष्ठियां आयोजित की जा सकती हैं। इतना ही नहीं, स्कूली जो छात्र छात्राएं हैं उनकी भागीदारी को अंजाम देते हुए ऑनलाइन कंपटीशन आयोजित किए जा सकते हैं। इसके साथ ही संग्रहालय का एक महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा होता है एग्जीबिशन गैलरी और इस तरह की वर्चुअल एग्जीबिशन गैलरी भी आयोजित की जा सकती हैं। इतना ही नहीं, वर्चुअल म्यूजियम का पूरा अवलोकन भी दर्शकों को ऑनलाइन के माध्यम से करवाया जा सकता है। इसके साथ साथ हम जो महत्वपूर्ण दिवस हैं उनको मना सकते हैं। उदाहरण के लिए जैसे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संग्रहालय दिवस है, उसको ऑनलाइन इस तरह के आयोजन करके हम दर्शकों तक पहुंच सकते हैं। इतना ही नहीं, इसके साथ साथ समाज में जो लोग संग्रहालय में विशेषकर रुचि रखते हैं, ऑनलाइन के माध्यम से, मोबाइल के माध्यम से उनकी सोसाइटी बना सकते हैं और उनकी फीडबैक भी ले सकते हैं। साथ साथ वर्तमान दौर में जब दर्शक संग्रहालय से दूर है, तो जो कलेक्टर्स हैं उनको हम वेबिनार के माध्यम से बुला करके अलग अलग क्षेत्र के जो कलेक्टर हैं, सपोज कीजिए कि टेक्सटाइल का जो कलेक्टर अलग से है और इसी तरीके से जो मेटल का जो कलेक्टर है वो अलग से है, एग्रीकल्चर के आर्टिफैक्ट्स वो अलग से रखता है। इस प्रकार जो स्पेसिफिक जो कलेक्टर्स हैं उनको बुला करके किस तरीके से वो सामान को कलेक्ट करते हैं, वो सारी जानकारी हम अपने दर्शकों तक पहुंचा सकते हैं। और इसके अलावा जो एग्जीबिशंस हमारी लगती हैं, किस तरीके से हम एग्जीबिशन लगाते हैं, उसकी लाइटिंग कैसे हो, किस तरीके से ऑब्जेक्ट को हम जो दिखाते हैं उसका आई लेवल कैसे हो, जो म्यूजियोलॉजी से जुड़े हुए विद्यार्थी हैं उनको और उसकी जो कंजर्वेशन है उसके विषय में भी विस्तार से जानकारी दे सकते हैं। साथ साथ सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से संग्रहालय के विषय में जागृति अभियान के जो कार्यक्रम हैं उनको भी हम इसमें शामिल कर सकते हैं और यू मोबाइल के माध्यम से जो नई टेक्निक आई है उसके माध्यम से हम किसी भी संग्रहालय की जो एग्जीबिशन है उसके विषय में, उसके मटेरियल के विषय में, उससे संबंधित जो इशू है उसके बारे में, उससे संबंधित जो कहानी है उसके बारे में, किस तरीके से तकनीकी रूप से एग्जीबिशन की जाती है उसके बारे में और एग्जीबिशन का उद्देश्य क्या है उसके विषय में, ये सब जानकारियां हम वर्तमान दौर में दर्शकों के साथ जुड़ करके दे सकते हैं। और इसके अतिरिक्त जो अलग अलग रुचि के अनुसार हमारे जो दर्शक हैं, जो हमारी सोसाइटी का हिस्सा हैं, जो म्यूजियम की सोसाइटी का हिस्सा हैं, उनको अलग अलग हॉबी के अनुसार कैटेगरीज में बांट करके उनसे फीडबैक ले सकते हैं और म्यूजियम जो ऑफलाइन है उसको हम ऑनलाइन कर सकते हैं। इस प्रकार वर्तमान दौर में लॉकडाउन के समय में जो संग्रहालय है उसको दर्शकों तक पहुंचाना नितांत आवश्यक है, ताकि हमारे जो दर्शक हैं वो हमारे संग्रहालय से उनकी दूरी न हो जाए और वो हमारे संपर्क में रहें। क्योंकि संग्रहालय से किसी भी दर्शक का जो संपर्क है वो अपने आप में हमारी जो पुरातात्विक धरोहर है, जो संस्कृति है, जो संस्कार है, जो परंपरा है, जो इतिहास है, जो पुरातत्व है, जो संग्रहालय में विषय वस्तुएं हैं, उनके विषय में युवा पीढ़ी को और छात्र छात्राओं को, जो हमारे दर्शक हैं, उन सभी को जोड़कर हम अपने देश की संस्कृति को और उसकी परंपरा को, उसके इतिहास को हमेशा के लिए सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं। वर्तमान दौर में जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि लॉकडाउन के अंतर्गत जो दर्शक है वो संग्रहालय में नहीं आ सकता है और जो संग्रहालय वो पूर्णतः बंद हैं। ऐसे में इस तरह के ऑनलाइन इस तरह के प्रयासों के माध्यम से, यू मोबाइल के माध्यम से हम अपने संग्रहालयों से अपने दर्शकों को जोड़कर नए आयाम स्थापित कर सकते हैं। यही समय की मांग है और व्यक्ति वही सफल होता है जो समय के साथ चलता है। वर्तमान दौर में संग्रहालय का स्वरूप बदल रहा है और ऐसे में हमें ऑनलाइन संग्रहालय, वर्चुअल संग्रहालय, यू मोबाइल संग्रहालय के माध्यम से दर्शकों को अधिक से अधिक संख्या में जोड़ना चाहिए।
Today, we have all been affected by the spread of the novel coronavirus in one way or another. The virus has clearly hit some countries and regions harder than others, but when faced by a pandemic, we are all in the same boat. As of today, all the museums of our country have taken precautions against the spread of COVID-19 to ensure the health of both their visitors and staff, and they have been forced to temporarily close their venues due to local outbreak or governmental orders. In times when visitors cannot come to interact with the physical exhibitions of all the museums, so as the museum personnel, we have to regenerate some ideas on that how we must come to the visitors both in this present and post-pandemic situation of the world. All over the world, one wonders if during the transition phase and subsequently at the end of the pandemic, the cultural friction will return to be similar to the previous one or changes can be hypothesized. My reflections focus on the museum activities that have moved online in these closing weeks, both through streaming live events and through the creation of digital content and the proposal of visits that use virtual reality. One way to connect with the public despite social distancing is to invite them to visit the museum virtually. Museums around the world have been adding virtual collections for some years now, and this is a perfect opportunity to publicize them. Google Arts and Culture has collaborated with more than 500 museums and galleries across the globe to provide virtual tours and online exhibits. Today, I am trying to highlight some major and user-friendly activities which the museum personnel can plan to do while the COVID-19 pandemic is keeping visitors at home. First of all, I want to say that our museum, that is Gandhi Memorial Museum, Barakpur, already offers 360-degree views of the exhibits of one gallery in our website. So, visitors can learn about everything of this gallery from the comfort of home. And we shall also try to create such 360-degree views of the remaining galleries of our museum during post-pandemic phase. It may be some needful activities for all type of museums to share their exhibits and research works through the eyes of a shown enthusiast. It may be post short movies on social medias of curators or researchers or educators talking about their favorite things. In this way, the museum community gets exclusive thoughts from people working behind the scenes. It will certainly stir up their interest in topics they didn't know could be fascinating. The museum community may be active on Twitter in order to reach those who are social distancing. Several museums of our country are now tweeting interesting facts, videos, and insights about their collections at present. Museums can take to Twitter to invite those practicing social distancing to have a chat with its friendly members. Members of the public can ask the questions also. We can do this through our museum's website or by a text message. We can use some items from our collection to add a little humor to the advice for social distancing practices. One way to keep the engagement up is to invite the audience to join in on the process of creating content for our social media channels. This can be done in many ways. We can ask our audience to share their stories and memorable experiences from visits, and these stories can be fed in our social media and encourage others to share their treasured moments. To encourage the children and their parents, we are developing a plan to try out a series of quizzes related to our freedom movement and life of activities of Mahatma Gandhi at home and ask them to post the results. Such activity may be a good combination of education and engagement in post-pandemic period. It would also be a great experience for our museum to share our museum galleries through live streaming guided tours and shows daily such live videos through our social media channels. The live video feature on Instagram and Facebook is easy to use and people can ask questions directly in a chat. If we want to give people the opportunity to actively participate in a topic they care for, we can post a schedule also. It could be a good idea to save these videos on a platform where they can be seen afterwards. We want people to come and experience our exhibition for themselves. Today, museums across the globe also use YouTube to connect with and engage their visitors. There is a huge range of interesting videos to take advantage of while social distancing. Many museums are currently sharing links to these through their social media channels. We are also planning to create the YouTube channels for our museum, where visitors can watch the videos, either which we had showed in our museum's audiovisual room or the video of any event or programs of our museum. Today, museums have to rethink and plan radical choices that take into account the logic of accountability of the increasingly important social responsibility they have towards society as a whole. As a biographical museum, based on life and activities of our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, we have to keep in our mind that we should highlight the message to the public that Gandhiji's principle could be very relevant here as it stressed on self-reliance at the local level. Mahatma Gandhi's concept of Gram Swaraj can be interpreted and appreciated in the light of the coronavirus pandemic. So, we are also planning to arrange some series of lectures by the experts and to make some small video clippings and the interactive resources to motivate the people. As this year's International Museum Day will require some creative thinking in countries affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, so before finishing my lecture today, I hope that all the museums must take a clear position at this precise moment and take responsibly for the needs of the community it represents by making its resources and spaces available. I am grateful to the authorities of the Asiatic Society Kolkata for inviting me to be a speaker of this special webinar to celebrate the International Museum Day 2020. Thank you.
I am Dr. Pradeep Kumar Mondal, Curator, Robindranath Bhavan, Vishwabharati, Shantiniketan. My topic is Museum Communication is a Challenge in Present Scenario. First, I would like to thank Asiatic Society Administration for selecting me as a speaker in this valuable program on International Museum Day. This year, the theme of International Council of Museum is Museum for Equality, Diversity and Inclusive. We know Rabindra Bhavan as well as Shantiniketan is not only a biographical museum of versatile genius Rabindranath Tagore. It is actually a living museum including its educational system introduced by Rabindranath Tagore, cultural program and festival throughout the year, historical building, sculpture, murals, painting and memorabilia, etc. Rabindranath Tagore travelled all over the world and selected different educational activity and culture to introduce in Vishwabharati. At present, Vishwabharati as well as Shantiniketan is all in one nest. In 1942, 1st July, Rabindranath Tagore as a son as well as Registrar of Vishwabharati started a biographical museum at Udayan House on his father's memory, and he donated all his family collection to this museum. It was established 4 years before of ICOM and 1 year before of Museum Association of India. But the aims and objective of newborn museum was as per present Indian Council of Museums Ethics Manual. As a result, this museum became one of the busiest biographical museum in India. More than 3 lakhs footfall per annum is not a joke, but present time is the time of social distancing or physical distancing. Museum need to reach everybody and cater equally. It is difficult to manage huge number of visitors and scholars of Rabindra Bhavan library, archives, museums, etc. This is a great challenge for museum professional. Main barrier is physical communication. In present scenario, we can follow such as virtual gallery or virtual tour may be effective. We can use different apps like WhatsApp, Zoom, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Sites, blog, page for special lecture, discussion, program, exhibition, different educational activity, etc. Like online journal, we can cater online library archives. With proper permission and payment, user can take copy of manuscript and painting, etc. We can use radio, TV and YouTube, etc. Online communication is easy task. Anytime, any museum can organize with their minimum infrastructure, even from home. But offline communication in present scenario is a difficult task. The people with no internet, no Android phone is more than 23%. To obey International Council's theme, Museums for Equality, is a great challenge to museum professional. We, the museum professional, need to research on it. To avoid rush for visitors, online ticketing is best process, and for scholars, on appointment basis is the best way. At last, thanks to all for their patient sharing. Thanks.
It's a great pleasure to inform you that each year the Asiatic Society Kolkata celebrates International Museum Day on 18th of May. This year, physical celebration is not possible due to COVID-related pandemic and lockdown. But that has not constrained us from observing this important day, and we are happy that the observance could be made possible in a unique way through audio talks given by renowned academicians and museum professionals from various parts of the country. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the speakers who have delivered their valuable talks, which we'll be hosting in our website. I expect a greater reach out through this online platform. Hope this will encourage people about museum and its various uses for knowledge development. In this occasion, I would like to thank Dr. Satyabrata Chakraborty, General Secretary of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata, for his introductory speech and spontaneous support to this project. I am thankful to Professor Tapati Mukherjee, Library Secretary, the Asiatic Society, Kolkata, for her valuable contribution to this project. I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Sanghamitra Bosu, Head of Manuscript Publication, National Mission for Manuscripts, Ministry of Culture, for her views regarding manuscript designation and online access. Digitization and online access. Thanks to Mr. Anurag Kumar, Director, Central Research and Training Laboratory, NCSM, Ministry of Culture, for his illuminating speech on necessity of virtual museum in this changed scenario. I am thankful to Sri S. Ranade, Director, Raja Dinkar Kelkar Museum, Pune, for sharing his views regarding the role of museum in this difficult situation and even after post-pandemic period. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. Mahasingh Punia, Director of Youth and Culture Affairs, Kurukshetra University, and former Director, Dharohar Haryana Museum, Kurukshetra University, for his speech on approach of the museum to the people during this lockdown. It's my pleasure to thank Dr. Pradeep Kumar Mondal, Curator, Rabindra Bhavan, Vishwabharati Shantiniketan, for his talk on the communicative role of museum in the society during this situation. I extend my thanks to Dr. Pratik Ghosh, Director Secretary, Gandhi Memorial Museum, Barakpur, for enlightening us on the role of museum in inclusion of cultural diversity. I would also thank to our officials of the Asiatic Society who have made this possible in this difficult time. Thank you very much.
Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya.